Good morning. It's turned out nice again. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not even going to pretend to say it. YouTube might tell me off. You alright? So listen, I uploaded a video yesterday. I'm sure you know all this by now. And it was immediately flagged and restricted by YouTube incorrectly for what they deemed was profanity throughout the majority of the video, which was not correct. So I won the appeal, which I've been winning just about all of them. 2 of them I didn't, but the majority of them I have been winning. But it takes a little bit of time for that to happen, right? They say allow a week. I've spilt sugar everywhere. Well, it's not sugar, it's sweetener. They say allow a week, but it took overnight, about 12 hours, I think. There we go. The reason I'm telling you this is if you come on my YouTube channel and you see a video that says members only content and it does not have members prefixed in the title, that means that video has been flagged and is under appeal. Alright? So if you're a channel member, you can watch it. If I win the appeal, then I switch it back to everybody. Does that make sense? So I suppose it's a bonus for the channel members. They get to see it, and I'm not responsible for what YouTube are doing, guys. I did post proof of it, on here last night and on my social media and that. Just so you know, I'm not trying to get you all to sign up and that. So just bear that in mind. If you try to watch a video and it says members only, but there is not members at the prefix, at the beginning of the title of the video, then it's subject to an appeal. All right. So, who was it that left a comment this morning? I think it was Vexed Gaming. How you doing, buddy? All right. He pointed something out today. He said, I've been saying keep an eye out for positive news, feel good news, nice things to do with the club, as Rafa would say. He pointed out that the official Liverpool FC YouTube channel posted a video in collaboration with Night today, which is all about empathy and we've all got to like each other and I don't know, human nature. Listen, I don't care whether you're male, female, black, white, straight, gay, gingers. I suppose my grandson's ginger. When he was born, I did say to my daughter, can we send him back? Really did. She laughed. And I think she said something along the same lines, like, what can I do, Dad? We just got good sense of humour in our family, which is good. So yeah, I don't care. I just think in life you just got to be a good egg, a good person. If you're a good person, or you try to be a good person, that's all that matters to me. I find a lot of it virtue signalling. I find it really strange that it's coming out at a time when there is a lot of anti Middle East vibe. So it's good timing for that, really. But the lad that messaged me, I say lad, it could be a lass, couldn't it? But according to my viewing figures, I think there's 1% of my viewers are girls, women, whatever. The likes of Jen and Jean's girl and people like that. It's good to have a few women knocking about. If there was one here now, I wouldn't be making this cup of tea, would I? You know what I mean? Don't think you're allowed to say that. Anyway. So Vexed Gaming, I think it was. He basically said, "You say this video, don't you were right?" Well, he did. I don't think he said you were right. I think he was basically saying you did say to look out for anything warm, positive, glowing, feel good stuff after a disappointing transfer window. And since the transfer window's closed, we've seen claims that FSG are looking at selling all of the club now. Which I actually believe is the case anyway, because I just don't, unless they can get the minor, I think they favour minor investment, but have been unsuccessful with it. So I don't think, I think they've got till the summer really. that's what I think. But I've addressed this in all my videos. So we've seen claims basically on the line, things that you want to hear. So not overnight, but since the transfer window's closed, I don't even know what date it is now. Is it the 2nd of February? Yeah. We've already had the suggestion that, FSG might go after all. That's positive news, isn't it? It's the sort of thing you want to hear. We've had, suggestions about Roberto Firmino's contract straight away. And there was something else as well. I can't remember what it was. But basically, there's someone on the KopTalk members website pointed this out and said something along the line, who had the raffle ticket for, Firmino's contract, like the good news or, this kind of stuff. Like, it made me laugh out loud when I saw that comment last night. Whoever you are, you made me laugh. Because it's just like, basically along the lines of the predictability of FSG and on how the club operates today. I do think that if you think, right, look at it like this. Today, overnight, since last night, the hysteria has started again, about Qatar, Saudi Arabia and all that to do with Liverpool Football Club. And it's like, it wasn't happening a few days ago, but like, it's happening now. And some people just say, well, it's just a coincidence. It's just really strange, isn't it? It deflects attention and it has the entire fan base talking about that rather than, current issues that are maybe a little bit negative, So I think FSG are masters at the, the propaganda and stuff like that. And I know what you're probably thinking. You're thinking, don't you try to tell me John Henry's sat there in his pad, deliberately like creating fake Twitter accounts? No, I'm not. But they have ways and means of getting things out there, Be suspicious of freelance hacks, football journalists. And there's a reason why I made a video about that today. In fact, it's called a YouTube short. Did you see it? I really need to know if that came up in your subscription feed or not, or whether you've had to look for it. Did you get a notification? Was it like a normal video? Because I might do a few of them, I'm enjoying making my videos at the moment when YouTube aren't going crazy. But they're just like little 1-minute videos, and you can quickly get your thoughts out without going and putting kettle on or going to my studio or something. And there was a reason why I made that video. I'm not going to go into it, but I just think that freelance football journalists, as I said in that short, often, freelance means unemployed. And if you freelance, you obviously want to be employed. How do you do that? By putting yourself out there as much as possible on fan sites and social media, especially Twitter. And you build up a following, and stuff like that. But how do you stand out during hysteria and a lot of people making claims? Then you say something controversial, or you say something that gives people hope. And then people like you read that and then contact me and say, Dunk, have you seen this? It's because you want it to happen so much that you're giving credibility to that person. There's a lot of good freelance journalists out there, I get that. But what you've got to understand is a lot of them either can't get a job at a mainstream media place, mainstream media outlet like The Athletic, for example, because they haven't got the sources, they're nobody, and that's not being disrespectful, it's just being honest. Or maybe they've been let go from some of these organisations because they're no longer an asset. So you've got to be careful of wannabe hacks and failed hacks, and or let's just, instead of referring to them as that, as freelance football journalists, you've got to be careful of them because they're going to say a lot of things that you want to hear. I really, really want you to digest that today, right? That what I've just said. Now, we've seen suggestions, I can't go through the hysteria of Qatar that we went through recently, because now there's a deal agreed again with Qatar and the Saudis, and FSG are going to retain something. There's so many suggestions and claims on social media. I read the comments, so someone will retweet it, and I'm really disappointed if it's any of you guys, all right? And I'll read the comments, and I just feel so sorry for some of the fans that, that say, is this official then? It's just like, come on. The problem is that in time, one of them will get it right, and then everyone will be going, see there, who wants to follow. And what happens is in the future, people go, well, this account got this right back then. Do you know what I mean? Well, we're grown-ups on here. We know how it works, don't we? So, what's on the agenda today? So, today I wanted to tell you to be careful of freelance journalists. You might see some claims regarding Qatar and Saudi Arabia, which, listen, there is interest in the club, the club, there is interest in the club from Qatar and Saudi Arabia. We know about the Qatar interest from last year, towards the end of last year. And we know there's interest from Saudi Arabia. I think maybe a couple of weeks ago I said to you, just listen, because there's nothing coming from there at the moment. Everyone was obsessed with the Qatar stuff. And the UAE, long-time admirers. And then Byrne. And I made a video about that yesterday for the channel members. I wouldn't want that to be public because it's just not worth the aggravation. But, that region is sniffing around the club, Now, there is someone that's become quite high profile on Twitter in the US, which they would refer to themselves as probably freelance journalists. And they're making a bit of a name for themselves at the moment because they're all over the ownership stuff. And now is a really good time to build your profile online. Even if you get it wrong, people will forget in the future, and you've already got all those followers and people paying attention to you, And this particular journalist in the US, I've been, saying to people recently, see, I can't even say what I want to say because I don't want to get into trouble on YouTube for profanity. Can you remember my videos, guys? But I think he talks a load of rubbish, trash, there you go. And apparently, within the last 24 hours, I think he said you've got to keep an eye on HSBE. Is it HSBE? I think it's HSBE, isn't it? The American people. Because they apparently have got an interest in Liverpool Football Club, but we know this from last year. So I don't know, why that's something, we've been watching and listening about them since last year, and what we understand is that they didn't have the money to come up with some. That's who we were led to believe. Now things may have changed, but that's who we are led to believe FSG wanted to partner with on this. All right, and as I'll keep saying, just for those of you that are new to my content, and if you are new to my content, this is how I roll, all right? These videos are made from my community, my people that follow me on KopTalk and that I've done for 25 years. That's a little joke I've got going at the minute. These videos, I'm not here to try and build up more followers on. I've been on YouTube for decades. I don't know how long I've been here. These videos are just it's community. KopTalk's a community. And whether they follow my podcasts, my videos, whether they're members of my members website, it's a community. And I make these videos for those people. But if you're new here, you're more than welcome to hang around as long as you're not an idiot. You know what I'm saying? And can't remember what I was going to say now. Give me that dog barking. It is nice outside, I'm in Spain, by the way, if you don't know. It's lovely outside. It's really nice. So I'm not really sure this is a great video, but I can't be amazing every day of the week, guys. Do you like my t-shirt? Yeah, you know what you think that is, isn't it? But look. What else can I talk about? Well, rewind. So that organisation, we know about them. I actually think, my opinion was, and I said this towards the end of last year, I think that particular American group, those individuals behind it that have sniffed around other clubs, what I said last year was that I believe that the talks with FSG and them were actually quite advanced. I think they really did speak for a long time. And I think that's why the news came out in November, because it didn't go anywhere, because they were unable to satisfy, or to conclude a deal. And I think that's why we then learnt about the takeover stuff in November, because it was a tactic, right, well, we're going to put them under pressure. We might as well go public with this, puts them under pressure. And also it alerts other people that might be interested to buy to not buy the club, but to come in with propositions and offers and things like that. So I actually believe the whole public LFCs for sale that started in November is purely because of that HSBE or whatever they're called, the initials of that group, right? 1,000,000% convinced that that's why it went public. And for what it's worth, the club's been for sale for years, in my opinion. Sorry, I'm drinking a cup of tea, and it's making me a bit, I feel like I need to burp, but YouTube might tell me off for that. There's no swearing in this video. Yet. So, FSG favoured a minor investment. I think that they know that they need to have that minor investment partnership in place before the summer, or there's going to be a lot of trouble when I say a lot of trouble, that sounds sinister, doesn't it? I mean, I think that trouble's the wrong word. I think there'll be a lot of toxic, like FSG out will be up to another level and all that, because I don't think they plan on spending in the summer. As things stand, so I think that, as I expressed yesterday, I think that they're now in a situation where they have accepted that they need to sell the club completely outright. And I actually think that that's what they're doing right now, is listening to that possibility of that. I still think that they would take the minor investment, given opportunity, but you know what? A minor investor lacks real ambition, guys. They're not going to come in and they're going to buy a bit of the club. They're going to use it for whatever purposes. They're not going to put money into the club. They're just not. And equally, even if an American group, consortium, businessman bought the club outright, I don't think I'd be very happy about it. I really want to have, football people owning the club. That's what's more important to me. Now, there's plenty of American Reds out there, Liverpool supporters, but they're special. That's what I'm saying. They're not the ones buying the club, though, unfortunately. To me, I think business and the attitudes of business, in the Middle East, in that region, is what excites me. And it's not just about finances. When you look at Newcastle, this is a prime example of a country where people were up in arms about. Their fans have accepted it. What goes on over there is their business. I don't think anyone condones, I don't want to even say dodgy, but just I don't think anyone condones the beliefs of some of these countries. I don't believe that, but I don't live in that country, and it's not really for me to dictate to them how they should live their lives. I'm sure we wouldn't like it if they said, well, you lot in the UK or Europe or America should do this, right? So each country has issues it's got to sort itself out on. What I do find rather, funny is that they're putting this video out today on the official LFC website, and they're saying that, about we're all the same, it's just like, well, yeah, you need to tell that to some of these top Reds then, that don't want them people to come into the club. And, just because you don't want people to come into the club from that region doesn't mean you're a racist or anything, but there's certainly an element of that in the minds of some people, I think. That don't want the Arabs, and probably they don't want the Arabs, don't want the Muslims, you're not from round here. It's just like, I don't know. It's not a good vibe, personally. You see, I live overseas, right? I live in Spain, which is obviously a part of Europe, and we've had all the Brexit thing and all that going on. And I understand why people back in the UK feel a particular way about Brexit. The country's stretched, with resources and things like that. And if I couldn't get a doctor's appointment for weeks on end because I felt it was because of this influx of whoever, I can imagine I'd be a little bit narked by that. But I just think that, I had conversations with people back in the UK and I was like, why are you voting for Brexit? And this was people that wanted to come and live in Spain when they retire. And they were like, well, we want to live in Spain when we retire, but we're voting for Brexit. Why? Because we've got Syrians on our street. And it's like, that's not to do with it. So I think so many people are just not educated enough about it all. And all I know is that I live in the EU, and I can go on my app, my phone's here in front of me, and I can go on there and I'll be able to get an appointment with my doctors today or tomorrow. Things are better here than England. No doubt about it, with things like that. So I do understand why some of you guys, went for the Brexit option. But the reason I'm mentioning all of this is that, I live in a country and in an area where there's so many nationalities live around me. Everything. Obviously, the Spanish live around me. All my neighbours are Spanish because I wouldn't want to live in an area surrounded by British people because otherwise you're going to yap and talk to them and all that, right? And I don't like the expat clicky thing. But there's a lot of Spanish, Norwegian, Swedish, Russian, Ukrainian, I know, right, all that, but these people are friends, the Russians, the Ukrainians. Just because of what's going on over doesn't mean they hate each other. These people are living and working amongst each other. There's people from Africa, there's people from all over here, basically, all over the world live here, right? Especially Europeans from all the different European countries. But it just works here. So for me, I really enjoy sitting down with someone from another country and learning about what they do or whatever, It's just something that I like. If I'd have stayed back in England all my life, in the town that I'm from, Scarborough, which isn't a city, you wouldn't really be integrating with these people. And I do think it makes a difference to your attitudes and the way you think about things. Now, the reason why I'm going on about all that is because the Arabs and the Middle East, it's a part of the world that fascinates me. I've been to Dubai, I've been over there to UAE. I was a nervous wreck when I first went there because the West was telling me this and this about that region. And I went there, it was probably the safest place I've ever felt in the world. It was certainly one of the cleanest places ever. And there was very strict rules. I went with my missus at the time and it was like, don't do this in public, don't do that. I quite liked walking 10 feet in front of her. Get back, you're too close to me. I think I made a video on here about it at the time. You wouldn't be allowed to do that today, would you? It's not like that. But I was trying to be funny. And failing, obviously, apart from when I took my clothes off. But that place up there was lovely. The people were nice. It's just we have this people have this preconceived image of what just brainwashed. The brainwashed. We know stuff goes on in these countries. But, we're not squeaky clean either. And I feel like I say this in all the videos. The West, the UK, America, we've done some horrendous things over the years. Horrendous. And still do. It's just hypocrisy. And it is all relevant what I'm saying because, I enjoy meeting people from different countries. Right? I don't walk around like some people going, he's not from, you know what I mean? Like that, he's not from round here, I want them here. Get back in your dinghy and clear off kind of thing. Even if it's born and bred in England or something. And it's that kind of attitude and it does spill into football. You might say, why are you going on about all this, Duncan, Brexit? Not? Because it is all relevant. It's all to do with politics. And a lot of the stuff that we're seeing people complain about is political. And it's because of their political beliefs and how they've been brought up. This particular type of supporter. I can't explain it probably without offending anyone. It doesn't mean that they're racist. Some people are racist. Just because someone voted for Brexit doesn't mean they're racist. But there is no doubt that racists are in that group. All right, people in every group. I know. But trust me, I know I'm right because I hear it all the time. Right, so, and I'm not daft, believe it or not. And we need to change the attitudes of this. We need to change the attitudes of this. And we need to realise that you know, the people that bought Newcastle United, all right, they bought Newcastle United fair and square, and they just want to be competitive and do good. I genuinely believe that at Newcastle United, at Manchester City, that they put success ahead of money. I genuinely believe that. I believe it is for sporting reasons. You know, yeah, they want to make money, but it's with the Americans, with our lot, for example, I feel it's the other way around. Like, we want to make the money, and if we're successful, then we're going to make the money. So, but you can't. If Qatar want to buy the club, if someone private in Saudi wants to buy the club, Byrne, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting notifications already. Turn it off. Oh, I've got an email here. Right, this is how the email starts, right? And you're going to like this, and I can't read it while I'm filming. Not sure if you're aware, question mark, money movements from Royals in. That's all I can see on the pull down thing. And that's, you know that's, I won't mention the name, but because I know he watches my YouTube videos as well. He's been a long time member of mine. I can see more of it now. I'm not sure if you're Alright, he's telling me about the movement of money from the Royals in the Middle East, directly or indirectly, and how it gets held up by US UK authorities due to the receipt. This is going to be an interesting email. Anyway, that's just someone helping me out. This is stuff that goes on all the time, right? It's a very good member of ours that on the members website, someone that's involved and has great knowledge in all of this stuff, in big business, and knows how this works. It was so lucky to have people like that, and also it's someone that I've met personally off KopTalk over the years as well. I love KopTalk, mate. It's great when it's good, and they're not threatening to caps lock you to death and that, you know, when they're not caps locking you to death. It's good. You meet some lovely people, but there is some awful people out there online. You know, and it's the awful people out there online that don't want the Arabs, really. Anyway, so I'll read that email when I finish this. I must do a KopTalk podcast today, guys. I have to do a KopTalk podcast today. I can't remember what I was talking about. So basically, the point I'm trying to say to you is, if one of those countries or private sector or whatever wants to buy Liverpool Football Club, you can't then like pick them out and blame them and hold them responsible for how their country behave or whatever. I mean, maybe that's different if it's the state buying a club or something, but do you know what I mean? It's like, we can't hold John Henry and his cronies responsible for the mistakes that for the things that America have done over the years politically and involving other countries and causing great suffering and things like that. Please don't be offended if you're American. I'm British. We're brothers in arms. We do all this together. There are times when both countries have acted, I think, in the best interests of the world, but also themselves. And there are times when I've gone that way, right, you know, and that's... Anyway, see what I mean? Politics. I've seen people from... I've seen Liverpool fans from that region criticising the top Reds, all right, that would prefer to have FSG maybe in power, would, you know, rather than have that lot in the flip-flops. I don't think you're allowed to say that. I don't care. If you can't take a joke, you shouldn't be on here. Not in the flip-flop. And I've seen it, like Liverpool fans out in that region, right, in Qatar, having a go at these top Reds, right, saying, well, your owners are responsible for this. And it's like, no, they're not. They're not. It's like if the UK does something today, I'm not responsible for that. It doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with the government. How many people do you think in these countries, in Qatar, UAE, Saudi, Bahrain, whatever country, whichever you personally think is a good or bad country, whatever, how many people live in those countries that don't agree with the policies of that country and just keep their mouth shut? It's all very well, you on here, if you think that when I say, well, what they do over there is their business, right? Maybe there's some of you that go, well, that's a bad attitude to have in it. Yeah, but I ain't got time to to campaign for what's happening in another country, because I ain't got time to sort my own life out, never mind somebody else's life. And at the same time, I find in life, if you keep your mouth shut, you're left alone. Do you know what I mean? You don't go missing and get chopped up and put in suitcases and stuff like that. Them sort of things that go on in the world are for democracies to work out, you know, democratic governments and your politicians. That's why they're paid money to do these things. And you voice your opinion through them, you know. If your morals are that strong that you could never support a Qatar takeover or whatever because of their rights and feelings towards homosexuals, for example, I applaud you. You know, you've got great morals and they're really, really good. But I'm not sure where it's going to get us in the real world. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we all had this, if we all had these morals, then, you know, we wouldn't be maybe turning a kettle on that was maybe made in a factory somewhere by some 8-year-olds. I don't know. Where do you stop? The T-shirt, you know, check the labels. Where do you stop? You know, where do you stop? You're not actively, you know, if you had someone bought the club that was, you know, your chairman of your club and they went, well, you know, we're not going to have the gays coming to Anfield anymore, then absolutely, you know, but it wouldn't be like that. And it wasn't so many years ago that our own country had to adapt, and is still adapting today to, you know, equality. Whenever I see equality in a newspaper, I always think of the quality bit by Rafa. I'm sorry. Equality, diversity, and all that. We get it. We all want, you know, one love. That's what it's all about. But we're still, our own country is still, prejudiced in some regards with those things. So just let things take their natural course, I think. And, as I said yesterday, I'm going to keep saying as often as I can, and maybe it's a bit repetitive in my videos, but you've got to remember sometimes maybe someone hasn't got time to watch a long video from yesterday. I believe Liverpool Football Club will be sold. As of today, I believe Liverpool Football Club will be sold and in its entirety. And I think that they are desperate to make it happen before next season. You know, I want to say, you know, the summer, but then it's like, well, everyone's got a different opinion when the summer starts. Does the summer start the last day of the season? Is the summer when the sun's out? When is it? Do you know what I mean? So I would rather just say before next season. Because if there is no investment in your squad, right, this summer, then they're going to be under immense pressure like you've never seen before. And they know this. They know this, guys. So they're desperate to find, you know, a partner, if you like, that will help, you know, finance the rebuild. But when you think about it, that's only temporary. I'm going to say it's only temporary, but it might last 5 to 8 years or something, that rebuild, which is temporary, believe it or not, in business sense. But it gives them time to build the asset and to do this and do that. It buys them time. And they are desperate for that to happen. And it's not just opinion, that. And if they don't secure minor investment, they have no alternative, in my opinion. In my opinion, I like to be clear about what's being put in my head and what I like to be clear about the difference between people that I trust and respect telling me something and then just my opinion. But they can both collide. Don't matter. I try to be specific on my videos. It's both. I am told, led to believe, and I also agree with what I am told, so in my opinion, that they right now are looking at a full sale because time is running out. Now you might turn around and say, well, hang on, Dunk, it's February, so we've got March, April, May, June, maybe 3-4 months. That, you know, like, that's not long in business. It's like 3-4 days. And when it's big business, you know, I don't mean if you're running like a fish and chip shop or a fruit and veg stall or something like that, I'm sure it's a nightmare. It just lasts forever, 3 or 4 days, especially if you stood in the rain. But they would do anything for minor investment, but I think they're being forced now to to have to entertain these offers from the Middle East. And as much as there's a load of rubbish on social media and Twitter, the majority of it, I'm yet to see anything that I believe on Twitter, to be honest with you. As much as a lot of it is complete and utter nonsense, I think that a lot of what is going on is because they are now not resisting. Does that make sense? I hate it when I don't explain myself very well. I stop recording, you know, and then I'll go and I'll sit down and crack on. I think, oh, I wish I'd said that, you know. Towards the end of last year, they were resisting interest in the club from the Middle East. But I don't think they are now. Is that an easier way of saying it? I said think. I really want to say I know they're not resisting, but I can't back it up really. You've either got to trust me. If you don't trust me, I can't back it up. I just can't. So if you don't want to go down the route of believing me, if you don't trust me or something, then that's fine. We'll just go with my opinion is that I think that's the situation. And that's it. I think that's it. My tea's gone cold. It's absolutely rank that now. Alright then. So, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I love doing these videos. Do you know what? I've got my nice little studio downstairs, all the lights, and some of you that have followed my videos for a long time, I was flapping, you know, because my computer was crashing, not so much crashing, freezing all the time, and I was recording videos, and I was so disheartened. You'll have seen how many videos I'm making these days, because back then you could be doing a video like this and then it just freeze, and then you'd lose everything, and you couldn't. If this stopped working now, you can't start again because you can't remember what you said, and then when you're recording again, you think, did I just say that a second ago? Was it from the failed video? So you have to scrap it all together. And just doing these, you know, these vids off the fly, just like that, you know, with a couple of recycling bins behind me, a rubbish picture on the wall behind me, which isn't mine, it's nothing to do with me. It's just so good, you know, because I can like, right, do you know what, I'm gonna, you know, instead of standing there having a cup of tea, staring out, you know, into this blue sky, and you know, you can make a vid and have a little chat. And I'll keep doing them. Yeah, all right then. So, let's make KopTalk TV great again. I'm adding a new name in there below in the video description. So please check your name to make sure if you've supported Let's Make KopTalk TV great again. Please make sure your name is in the video description below, and or go to www.koptalk.tv and make sure that your name is on that list. If it isn't, would you please email me and let me know, because sometimes things go in spam or sometimes I just forget. Dunk, D-U-N-K, at KopTalk.com. And I know there's one coming, and I will thank you personally in my next video, okay? But I haven't added you into the stuff yet, so I don't want to thank you until I've done that. It's very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful for that, guys. You know, when someone does that, you know, it just helps a little bit, especially when YouTube are giving me an hard time, you know. Definitely. Like last night, I had to restrict my video while I was appealing, and it was just killing me because I just thought there's people want to watch the video, see what I've got to say, you know. Yeah, all the information's in the video description. It's Friday tomorrow. I go to a pub on a Friday. I do. I go to a pub on a Friday. I mean, yeah, if you want to buy me a drink, you know, just look in the video description. And Saturday night, actually, we'll be live on here. We'll be live on here Saturday night, 7:30 PM UK. I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be honest with you, I woke up this morning with a sore throat, and I've got a sore throat. And I was starting to think, oh, what if I can't do Saturday night? But I've had a drink now, a cup of tea, it feels all right. So we'll be on here Saturday night, 7:30, early doors, if you want to talk about Liverpool. And then later in the evening, it'll just be chaos. If you think YouTube are bad now, wait till you see it on a Saturday night. Nah, they're all right, really. they just don't like you having too much copyright music on, you know. So you just you do what they tell you and you restart the stream, you know. So and my streams on a Saturday night are not monetized in any way, shape or form from YouTube. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't play copyrighted music and try and, you know, generate revenue from that, because that wouldn't be right. So I never do that. The ads are always disabled on the Saturday nights. But people come along to buy me a drink or whatever, and we have a good time. We really have a good time. So I'm looking forward to it, guys. Right, I'm off. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Right, I will be doing a KopTalk podcast today. All right. Yeah, we'll be doing that today. Okay. I'll speak to you soon.